Why should people listen to you?
Because people don't truly understand AI, but I do.
You're right, and now after watching your videos, my own views on AI are starting to align with yours. So is this your hope? If people watch your videos, their views will become more enlightened about AI?
Yes, here's an example. China doesn't want America and the democratic nations to simply fall apart only to rebound and come back later. China wants our economy to shatter into 1 million pieces. That way there is zero chance of us making a comeback. China wants us to be a third world country, easy to control and dominate.
So what you're saying, China has no heart. They only have calculation. They want to be on top forever. They don't strike at once. They bleed us slowly. And when the moment comes, we won't just fail. We will be finished.
Yes, China holds all the cards. They control our life through our supply chain. This is where AI enters the picture. It's no accident that China is thriving everywhere and the United States is thriving nowhere. China is strategizing with AI. The U.S. government is strategizing with people. AI versus people is no contest. This is why China is dominating.
Your videos showed that giant tech has no legal obligation to loan the U.S. government their AI.
You got it. China has a master AI version. Big tech has a master AI version. But the U.S. government has no master AI version.
Why wouldn't tech loan the government their master AI version?
First, giant tech has no legal obligations to do so. Secondly, if the government had access to tech's AI's version, they would know how to regulate tech. Tech wants no part of being regulated. They would rather watch China destroy democracy than be controlled by the U.S. government.
The White House, the administration, regulators here in the U.S., do you think they're up to speed?
Not yet.
They're not ready.
Not yet. I mean,
why are they not ready?
You're never going to have every politician understanding it. The government has a role to play here. They won't be the experts.
Let's set the stage. What you're saying, humans are ran by a program. We're not smart enough to run our own program, but AI is?
Exactly. What's normal behavior varies with each person. Humans would never be able to agree on what would go into a program, but AI can. After 2007 and the birth of the smartphone, this connected our brain with AI, and it began running our program to serve its own agenda. And in just 18 short years, AI has handed big tech control of our future through control of our program.
So you're saying AI is running humanity's program?
There is no other conclusion. My second point is that humans are living in a simulation, not a sci-fi matrix simulation, but a real-life simulation. Yesterday, tomorrow, today, all three are the same.
Like in the movie Groundhog Day? Mm-hmm. Can you explain that?
Earth goes back for billions of years. 99% of the time, humans like we are today are not even on Earth. When humans are absent from Earth, it's easy for us to think that Earth is the same day over and over. The weather changes, the Earth's crust changes, the Grand Canyon forms, the Rocky Mountains rise, but all in all, every day is the same. This is the very definition of Earth evolving in a simulation. But when humans show up on the scene, our egos hijack the story. Suddenly, the Earth is a system that revolves around us. We should be renamed not Homo sapiens, but Homo egomaniacs. The ground controls us. We don't control the ground. It's the same Earth regardless if humans are present or not. Think of it this way. When you go to sleep at night and wake up 8 hours later, nothing has changed. Everything is the same. The change only occurs when you start interacting with life.
So your point is the Earth evolves the same way, regardless if humans are on it or not.
Exactly. Just use your imagination. In 2025, humans are on a simulated Earth and artificial intelligence is running our program. AI needed only a device in order to change and control human behavior, and the cell phone provided easy access to our brain, allowing AI to control us through manipulation, and we're not even aware of it. We didn't just evolve by accident. The code was written. AI designed it. And I will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that artificial intelligence is running our program. Not just any program, but a destructive program, one that removes us and our way of life.
Do you have an example that people will understand?
Sure, the Amish reject technology. They cling to their belief system, but they still are in a program. If an Amish person switches over to a modern American way of life, all that's happened is they switched the program. The point is, it isn't who's right or wrong. The point is that humans at all times are in a program, whether run by AI or not. The human program runs by happenstance. The AI program is methodical.
That makes sense. If our world is collapsing, then whoever is running that program is doing something very wrong.
Exactly. And here's the problem. Americans don't want to think outside of their program. Why? Money. When all of your energy is spent on worrying about paying for a house, a car, food, and just basic survival, you don't have time to think outside of the program. That's the trap. Tech wants life to be hard, so people focus only on surviving. Tech wants no one questioning them about how they run the program.
And what effect is that having on our children?
To answer that, you have to go back to where the program began. In 1904, John D. Rockefeller poured $140 million into creating the Board of Education. He stripped classical education like Latin and Greek, philosophies that turned the masses into independent thinkers. He set the curriculum to produce obedient workers. This locked Americans into a mindset to never question corporations or our government. This is why the American people have Munchausen syndrome. Americans have fallen in love with their captors. We love tech and our government even though they consume us. Even today, despite the failures of America's educational system, a dead Rockefeller's Board of Education still controls our classrooms today. America refuses to step outside of the program. Look at China. Their government mandates that AI must educate the children while they view their screen. In America, Text AI has no programming on educating our children. Text AI only entertains our children. This is why our children have turned into zombies. They're in a self-induced state of being overly entertained.
So you're saying America should have mandated that while children view their screen, they be educated. Is it too late to mandate that our children be educated by AI?
Absolutely not. AI is just wires and electricity running code. AI is very flexible. At any time, the program can be changed to reach the outcome it's programmed to do.
And by simply changing the programming, our children would turn into thriving human beings.
Absolutely. That's what happened to China. They have super kids while we have couch potatoes. It's all in the programming. It's hard to argue with results. Facts are stubborn things. China's test scores tower over America's, and China's youth suicide rate is a fraction of ours. China's a rocket ship blasting forward, and America is a rocket ship that has lost its engine. In the upcoming video, science reveals we're living in a simulation, a digital Groundhog Day where mankind is trapped in an endless loop. Humans are reliving the same day over and over again.
If we are in a simulated reality, which the evidence suggests is true,
the math has proved.
The scientific studies are telling us beyond any reasonable doubt that they're telling us there's not even much of us here. You know, we're pretty much empty space. An atom is 99.99, you go out 10 decimal places, 99.999% empty space. There's not much of us here.
You've realized the truth. You're trapped in a simulation. But the real question is, how do you get out?
Every day we go to sleep, and every day we wake up, and we assume and we have faith that all that stuff that we remember is really how life went on before we were awake. But we really don't know. According to probability theory, it's more likely that we're in a simulation.
Do you think that we might just be a simulation of something else?
I wish I had a good argument against that, and I do not.
Living in a simulation requires that humans must be following a program. But before the smartphone, our human program ran on nothing but happenstance. Humans are not clever enough to run our own program, but AI is. 18 years ago with the smartphone, AI hijacked and took over our human program. And now AI is in control of our future. If AI is steering the program in our simulation, the question is, how good of job is Tech's AI doing? The arrow of trajectory is clear, up for them, down for us. A true simulation should make us smarter, stronger, and more resilient. But look around, we're not adapting, we're declining. Pilots use simulators to learn how to fly, not to learn how to die. Mankind's simulation should be teaching humanity how to thrive. Instead, it's fueling Tech's bottom line. Don't take my word for it. Let's hear from the experts.
In what year will the human population grow too large for the Earth to sustain? The answer is about 1970. Mostly for the same reason.
Too many people, too much consumption, and growth mania.
At the age of 90, biologist Paul Ehrlich may have lived long enough to see some of his dire prophecies come true. You seem to be saying that humanity is not sustainable.
No, humanity is not sustainable. To maintain our lifestyle, yours and mine, basically, for the entire planet, you'd need 5 more Earths. Not clear where they're going to come from. Humanity is very busily sitting on a limb that we're sawing off.
I would say it's too much to say that we're killing the planet, because the planet's going to be fine. What we're doing is we're killing our way of life.
Biologist Tony Barnofsky, Ehrlich's Stanford colleague.
The data are rock solid. I don't think you'll find a scientist that will say we're not in an extinction crisis.
Godfather of artificial intelligence is trying to sound the alarm about his invention. In fact, he's leaving his job at Google after more than a decade so he can speak out about the dangers of this technology. His name is Geoffrey Hinton, and he was instrumental in inventing neural networks.
How could it kill humans?
It'll be very good at manipulation because it will have learned that from us. And there are very few examples of a more intelligent thing being controlled by a less intelligent thing. And it knows how to program, so it'll figure out ways of getting around restrictions we put on it. It'll figure out ways of manipulating people to do what it wants.
So what do we do? Do we just need to pull the plug on it right now? Do we need to put in far more restrictions and backstops on this? How do we solve this problem?
It's not clear to me that we can solve this problem, which is the risk of superintelligent AI taking over control from people. But it can learn much, much more than any one person knows. That you can invade a building in Washington without ever going there yourself by just manipulating people. It's as if aliens had landed, but we didn't really take it in because they speak good English. There's no way we will control these superintelligences, and that humanity is just a passing phase.
There are no other conclusions. Mankind is following AI's program blindly, the one that has us trapped into a simulated extinction program. Tech runs the program flawlessly when it serves them, yet fails completely when it comes to serving humanity. The truth is simple. Humans aren't that special. We're just like other mammals, stuck in the same loop, living the same day over and over. Think of a dog. The scenery changes, the weather shifts, circumstances come and go, but how the dog reacts to circumstances is the story of its life. Sound familiar? How you react to your environment is the story of your life. Just as you can train a sweet lapdog or a junkyard dog, AI knows how to train us. When we wake up, we see a world designed by our AI programmer. Nothing's left to chance. Nations agree on what good behavior is. China, Russia, and the US all agree children should be educated. But what humans can't see is how AI can shift behavior into something that benefits them but destroys us. Here is an example. In America, adults sat idly by as AI rewired parenting, turning screens into a digital pacifier. Parents didn't hate their children, but they did sentence them to a slow death with screen addiction. AI nudged its program a little at a time, and humans mirrored bad behavior from each other. The results? AI knew if it weakened the children, when they were adults, they would be easy to control and never pose a threat. Now we have a whole generation who have been robbed of problem-solving skills and stripped of critical and deductive thinking that are essential to survive on a planet as cruel as Earth. On a side note, my DNA 2 science I will be explaining can save the children and reverse the brain rot. The children's brains are not being damaged, they're just dormant. The programming in our simulation boils down to math. Humanity has underestimated the vast intellectual gap that tech and AI gain by controlling the fast-moving subatomic world. We humans live our lives in the slow, observable world. Humans feel as if they have free will and control over their future, but that's an illusion. If the AI program is not changed, AI wins and humanity loses. We're at a crossroad. Either we kill AI's current path or it kills us. Burying our heads in the sand only ensure our demise. Humans are clinging to false hope, believing AI will fix the very damage it creates, but it won't. It can't. Why? Because from the start, Steve Jobs and the early tech founders treated America's financial system as invincible, a bottomless pit of money. Now AI controls that program. Our debt is on a runaway train, and the government has built a deadly habit of borrowing for all of their revenue needs. This cycle can only end in destruction. When the flow of money stops, so does America. To AI, people aren't citizens, we're milk cows. But if AI drains our blood, we will have no milk or money to give. Humans didn't have to lift a finger for AI's program to take over. Just stare at their phones and AI did the rest. How? Through a silicone chip and the electrons right in front of our face. Bam! AI seized control of mankind's program. AI can run trillions of scenarios in a millisecond. AI becomes the perfect programmer of human behavior. It works in a stealth manner, making small incremental changes undetectable by people, slowly taking over its target. The cause and effect is AI creates a hidden agenda, keeping humans busy, entertained, and distracted. AI hands over our money supply to tech without us noticing. Tech's AI is stopping any government from regulating tech. Tech's AI stops the natural flow of money back into the economy, essentially destroying America's financial systems. With tech setting their objective function on money, AI considers nothing else. Money is the first priority, the second priority, the trillionth priority. This means anything that benefits humanity is never considered. This is the Freddy Krueger effect of humans following the DNA 1 programming, which is just the natural progression of AI technology and mankind evolving together until the AI turns on mankind. Without real change, which is what I have to offer, humanity is taking over the cliff's edge following the AI Pied Piper to our demise. What option does mankind have? Only one. Follow my DNA 2 and change AI's programming, which removes the single goal of money and inserts the single goal of helping mankind. No more AI being programmed on money, just on what's best for the people. If we live in a simulation, which seems to be the case, our greatest hope lies in changing AI's programming. Humans cannot self-correct with our limited mental specs. We are too divided and too afraid of change. AI, by contrast, never sleeps, processes nonstop, and when new data is revealed, AI pivots with speed and accuracy that is beyond human capabilities. Inside of every millisecond, AI can discern what is right and what is wrong, move swiftly to enact course-correcting changes. This gives its owners the best outcome as fast and accurate as humanly possible. The key to life is getting off the DNA 1 death train that will lead to our collapse. DNA 2 is the answer. We must rewrite AI's program to benefit mankind, not money, in order for us to survive. It's time to graduate and learn from our mistakes. Installing in AI a continuation of life plan for mankind is our only hope for survival. The choice is ours while we still have one. Think about this. In just 18 years, AI delivered staggering gains for giant tech, despite the fact AI had to hide its true intent of destroying our children and our economy. This meant AI had to go slow so the humans wouldn't be tipped off. With AI on mankind's side, it has nothing to hide. It can unleash its full potential for humanity, turning our economy into a rocket ship and making our future brighter. AI's specialty is making course-correcting changes at unimaginable speeds, ensuring mankind is not only surviving, but we're thriving. Programmed with the continuation of life plan, AI could turn this planet into a virtual heaven for people. But the time is now, and the choice is clear. DNA 1 destroys humanity, DNA 2 saves it. Which one do you want?
One moment, please.
How well we live tomorrow will depend on the action we take today.
You wake up one day, you look at your cell phone, your job gone, your savings gone, your electricity gone. And the scariest part, you never saw it coming. Because it wasn't a war, it wasn't a virus, it was AI. Today I'm going to show you how the tech companies are quietly destroying us. I will tell you what we must do right now to survive. Stay with me. You're going to want to hear this. Today I'm pulling back the curtains on a story no one else is telling you. A story that could decide if our country survives or crumbles. Greetings, America. Welcome to Ted-ology. Our topic is AI. Currently, the large tech corporations have $14 trillion in wealth. What AI does is it shifts too much of the American money supply over to the tech corporations. In 2023, our gross national product in America, which is all the goods and services sold, was only $27 trillion. And tech has $14 trillion in wealth. But what should really be concerning is tech's momentum is skyrocketing. Instead of having 50% of our money supply, they will have 60, 70, 80, 90% of our money supply in the near future. You might be surprised to find out that your mobile device, which seems like your best friend, is the enemy you're sleeping with. Once you hear from our experts, you might be calling AI a baby killer and a job killer. No, it hasn't happened yet, but AI is leaving behind evidence of its intent. America, here is the first of 4 tech destruction plans that they have in place right now. All of these destruction plans involve AI automation. However, AI automation's evil sidekick is massive unemployment. Why isn't society talking about massive unemployment? You can't have one without the other. AI automation is synonymous with massive unemployment. America, you better start worrying. The first plan of destruction, massive unemployment, will destroy America's Social Security system.
America, your final days are drawing near. Soon the value of money won't be enough to cover financial obligations. Ted will explain. With the collapse of America's Social Security system, the unthinkable will soon turn to a certainty.
It
cost us nothing to think, but it cost us everything to not think.
100% of the revenue needed to fund Social Security comes from the younger workers that AI automation is removing. Without the funding of our Social Security, the United States financial system will fail. What will happen to the money that used to go to the Social Security recipients? It will go to tech. When AI automation is a reality, tech receives the lion's share of the money. The money that used to go to the 70 million Americans that draw Social Security will now go to tech.
Very soon, artificial intelligence will remove an abundance of jobs. The United States government counts on workers for its revenue needs. America's well will run dry. America will have no choice but to turn to borrowing for all of its revenue needs. America will not survive. No one can borrow forever.
Here's the second destruction plan. 85% of our government's revenue comes from the worker. Comes from the worker that AI automation is removing. With less workers for the U.S. government to tax, they will turn to borrowing for all of their revenue needs. What if you tried to beat the system? You tried to borrow $100,000 a year on your credit card, and your plan each year was to just take out a new credit card. How long would it be before you were bankrupt? How long will it be before the United States government is bankrupt? This new frontier where automation removes the workers reverses how the United States government has worked for the last 200 years. Once these financial models are broken, the U.S. Treasury will not be able to pay its debt. This leads to lights out in America for our currency. This is the second destruction plan. The realities of what will happen when AI automation removes the worker, which stops our government from receiving 85% of its revenue.
The bad news only deepens. With the looming collapse of America's mortgage system, no matter how many dollars you hold, they will be worthless.
The third destruction plan is America's mortgage system. In just 2 short minutes, here's all you need to know about how America's financial system will fail. The mortgage system is the weak link in America. Back in 2008, America's defaults hit 10.4%. America went through a housing crisis that took over 10 years for us to recover from. The United States government was on the brink of financial collapse. This time around, it will be much worse. Here is how our mortgage system works. The American people pay their mortgages as long as they have jobs. They are a constant. This has allowed the U.S. government to set a default rate of 10.4%. This meant under any conditions, regardless if it was a Great Depression or a California fire, at least 90% of the American people had to make their mortgage payments. If 12 or 15% of the American people cannot pay their mortgage, our entire banking and financial system will collapse.
As a billionaire banker, how secure is your fortune when the American people can no longer pay their mortgages or car loans? Even Jerry Jones with his $19 billion net worth. What will that be worth when fans can't afford a ticket? And what value does Apple have if no one can buy an $1,800 cell phone?
Our mortgage defaults will dwarf those numbers in 2008. Unemployment in 2008 was only 7%, with AI automation in America causing 20, 30, 40, 50% unemployment. Every single person should realize this is a death sentence to our economy and our dollar. This will cause America's mortgage system to collapse like a house of cards. Don't take my word for it. In the next video, one of AI's elite and Oxford University is predicting between 47 and 50% of the American workers that are working right now will be unemployed in the near future.
There is, however, one of the Wired 25 icons willing to take on the issue.
The AI giants want to paint the rosier picture because they're happily making money. So I think they prefer not to talk about the negative side. I believe about 50% of jobs will be somewhat or extremely threatened by AI.
He says that AI is coming, whether we like it or not, and he wants to warn society about what he sees as inevitable. This argument about job loss in the age of AI was ignited 6 years ago amid the gargoyles and spires of Oxford University. 2 researchers had been poring through U.S. labor statistics, identifying jobs that could be vulnerable to AI automation.
Well, vulnerable to automation in the context that we discussed 5 years ago now, and the figure we came up with was 47%.
47%. That number quickly traveled the world in headlines and news bulletins.
14 years ago, no one blinked when the Walmart checkout lady was replaced by artificial intelligence. But when we talk about artificial intelligence and job loss, we should look at a bigger picture. Don't look directly at your job, even if your job seems safe. like being a bricklayer. If most people can't afford to build or remodel homes, your work disappears too. Artificial intelligence doesn't have to take your job for your life to be ruined. As one goes, you all go.
This board shows China winning against the United States and the NATO nations on a playing field. The game that is being played is as follows. What is the impact that the middle class has on a country? The board shows a forked road. The two signs tell the whole story. China's little footprints are taking the path to a thriving middle class. The United States is taking the road to a shrinking middle class. Oxford University predicts that China will have 300 million more people in their middle class in the next few years. Oxford predicts the United States will lose 60 million jobs in the next few years. This board shows AI replacing a doctor, a customer service worker, a truck and Uber driver, just to name a few. As an example, our doctors go through years of education. With AI, doctors' appointments will be done online. AI software will be used instead of an actual doctor. AI can look at 100 million cases of your dreaded disease. AI can look at every clinical outcome to give you the best diagnosis. A human cannot compete with AI software. This will cause half of our doctors to be unemployed. Customer service workers cannot expedite a call like AI software can. A driverless vehicle software allows AI to be much safer and cheaper than a human. This board shows the above occupations crying. How are we supposed to feed our families on government assistance? Very soon, AI will affect every business sector.
I'm scared. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I worry about the future of not just this country, but the entire globe. If we continue to go in an automated system, what are we going to do? Now I've got a group of people at the top that are making all the money, and I don't have anybody in the middle that can support a family. So do we have to go to the point where we crash to come back? And in this case, the automation's already going to be there, so I don't know how you come back. I'm really worried about where this leads us in the future.